Today I will talk about scoliosis and breathing. Scoliosis affects our breathing. Having a twisted spine compromises respiratory function on many levels. It is fairly common for scoliosis patients to suffer from shortness of breath during everyday activities. But many may also suffer from sleep apnea, that is, cessation of breathing during sleep, and hypopnea, shallow breathing, or reduced airflow during sleep. Additionally, having scoliosis makes us more prone to sinus infection, asthma, bronchitis, and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease (COPD) or precordial cat syndrome (PCS), where one suffers from pain while breathing. The misalignments and twisting compromise our lung function, making us more prone to the slightest cold and virus. Stuff can get trapped in the lungs more easily when you cannot fully inhale or exhale. An asymmetrical body leads to blockages in all systems, particularly breathing, since most of the curves are in the thoracic area. Several muscles are involved when we breathe. The muscles in our face, nose, throat, neck, and collarbone help us inhale and exhale. The main ones is our diaphragm, which separates our lung from our belly space, and the intercostal muscles, the muscles between the ribs. The muscles in our abdominal area are also vital for breathing. Depending on where your curvature is, respiration is likewise affected. At the moment, I don't suffer from any serious breathing issues. However, climbing uphill or running quickly makes me breathless. So, I stick to walking. Looking back, though, I remember being unable to breathe properly around the time my body began twisting at 13 to 14 years. After some time of feeling bodily discomfort, I stopped feeling it. Or was it like that became my new normal? Maybe. I just got used to not being able to breathe normally. Anyway, I'm grateful. I've not had any serious breathing issues. I stated earlier that most cases of idiopathic scoliosis are emotional. This is a fact in my case. To survive a toxic home environment, we learn to suppress our feelings, to avoid punishment, rejection, and overwhelm. We repress our emotions by tensing various muscle groups and holding or restricting our breath. To stifle our emotions, we instinctively suppress our breathing more on the right nostril because the right brain is our emotional brain. Thus, the right septum becomes blocked, as it is in my case. This is also true of most who develop idiopathic scoliosis, blocking the free flow of our breath because we cannot or don't want to feel our emotions, namely anger, shame, fear, leads to physical constrictions in our body. Our unconscious, in its determination to protect our psyches, creates a body armor. If we become chronically stuck in our defensive breathing pattern, we develop a deviated septum and long term constriction of our primary breathing muscle, the diaphragm, which eventually constricts corresponding muscles, which leads to chest breathing or shallow breathing versus diaphragmatic breathing. This then becomes firmly entrenched in our psyche. Constricted breathing leads to constricted psyche, which leads to constricted physiology. Eventually affects our skeletal development, leading to spinal misalignment and thus scoliosis. Imagine a brook flowing straight and then some stones or debris blocking its flow. After some time, the water stagnates into a breathing ground for bacteria, virus, and other pathogens. Or maybe it finds a convoluted pathway to flow. Same here with our emotions and body. Having to suppress our intense emotions of fear, shame, hopelessness, and rage is only possible through suppressing our breathing. As I heal, I've become more aware of my breathing. Eastern medicine and martial arts are very aware of the connection between breath, emotion, and energy. How the interplay of these three affects our health and well being. It is only in recent times, particularly with the popularity of Wim Hof, that the Western world is waking up to the effect of the breath on the mind and body. Breathing affects our respiratory, cardiovascular, neurological, gastrointestinal, muscular, and emotional systems. It also affects our sleep, memory, focus, and energy levels. Free flowing breathing is crucial for our well being. If you're breathing properly, your abdomen should expand and contract with each breath. Breathing starts when you inhale air through your nostril. It travels down the back of your throat and into your windpipe to your lungs. Having scoliosis compromises our breathing on many levels, from our nostrils, which are deviated, to our tight neck and our diaphragm, which is rigid and unyielding. Compound that with a rotated rib cage, and you have a perfect storm for breathing deficits. My ribs have shifted due to my scoliosis, which have caused restrictions in my ability to take deep breaths, which could be the reason why I feel tired and exhausted more easily. When the spine curves, it impacts things not just on a 2D plane, but on a 3D plane. And the twisting of the spine twists the fascia, muscles, bones, and organs. The muscles around the lungs become so tight and restrictive, which affects one's breathing. Once you start getting into the 60-70 degree range, scoliosis can critically affect your lungs and heart, which is the reason why surgery is often advised. However, some people suffer more intense breathing issues post surgery. So please do your due diligence before going under the knife. Once fused, there is no unwind from there. Our emotional state affects our breath, and our breath affects our emotional state. Learning to control our breath does impact our emotional state. Diver, author, and trainer Stig Severinsen calls breath holding the new black. When you consciously hold your breath, you activate the mammalian dive response. This innervates the vagus nerve, a crucial component of our parasympathetic nervous system, causing a decrease in your heart rate, reducing blood pressure, and shifting your body into a relaxed state. When you hold your breath a little longer, the diaphragm starts to move and you build up carbon dioxide, that is CO2. The longer you hold your breath, the more CO2 endurance you build up. Building up CO2 tolerance leads to better resilience to stress. Other benefits of holding your breath include regeneration of new tissue in the brain, improved lung capacity, strengthened diaphragm, and reduced levels of stress and anxiety. Furthermore, through the strengthening of your diaphragm, your core muscle stability improves. Having a good posture is dependent on having a strong core. There are many breathing exercises like the breatheology method, Putricombe method, box breathing, also known as four square breathing, 4-7-8 breathing, alternate nostril breathing, and Wim Hof method. I follow the Wim Hof method. Wim Hof has numerous videos from beginner to advanced on YouTube. I wish I had tried to incorporate breathing practice earlier. I had this blog that breathing techniques involve taking deep breaths, which I've always found difficult to do due to my scoliosis. However, since I began following Wim Hof method, I realized it is not so. Practicing Wim Hof method has improved my mental state. I'm much more calmer. There are four important factors to remember when breathing: positioning the tongue at the roof of the mouth, keeping your mouth shut, and breathing through the nostril, using your diaphragm and breathing into the stomach, learning to hold your breath. Remember, these practices must be done regularly to derive optimal benefits. Regular practice is at the heart of transformational change. Another way to change your breathing is to change your response to stress. Changing our encoded stress response from threat response, deer in the headlights, frozen in fear, to challenge response, calm, focused eyes of a tiger looking onto its prey. Rewiring our mindset from hunted to hunter, from helpless despair to hopeful thrill. In threat response, our brain registers the danger and sends a cascade of signals through the nervous system, leading to a rapid release of adrenaline and cortisol and other stress hormones. Our heart rate increases, blood vessels constrict, the muscles tense, and our breathing becomes shallow, or we tend to hold our breath. In the challenge response, our bodies respond differently, with our blood vessels dilating and blood flowing evenly. Our muscles become relaxed and fluid, and our breathing is calm and steady. In this state, the body produces a mix of adrenaline and dopamine, which leads to heightened focus, excitement, and alertness. Being a hunter gatherer is a challenge state, so going on food foraging trips, trekking, mountain climbing, or surfing are great ways to shift our mindset. Any challenging activity that positively fires up our nervous system changes our breathing. In the challenge mindset, your nervous system is in a state of balance between the sympathetic, fight flight, and the parasympathetic, calm and connect responses. Regularly doing small challenging things builds a window of tolerance to manage stress better and thus breathe better. I found walking around in the mini forest behind my home changes my mental state. From feeling fearful and tense, my mind becomes still and peaceful. My senses become heightened. My breathing becomes more even. And a profound feeling of bliss permeates my entire being. The best thing is this happens naturally without making any effort. Additionally, chest opening exercises or yoga poses like an upward dog or downward dog or sphinx or cat cow pose stretch the pectoral muscles and shoulder blades, which can significantly improve breathing. The key to change is consistency, not intensity. Daily practice is the only way to change, heal, and grow. Healing scoliosis is a lifelong journey. Small actions can lead to bigger changes. When our breathing pattern changes from shallow breathing to calm even breathing. It transforms our mind, body, and soul. Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh states, breath is the bridge which connects life to consciousness, which unites your body to your thoughts. Whenever your mind becomes scattered, use your breath as the means to take hold of your mind again. Check out my fermented hibiscus drink